On Sunday, veteran Angela Stanford won the Volunteers of America Classic on the LPGA Tour, not too far from her hometown of Fort Worth, Texas. It was the first win for Stanford since winning the Evian Championship in 2018. Stanford will have a shot at another major this week as the best players in the world gather in Houston for the 75th playing of the U.S. Women's Open, taking place at Champions Golf Club. Hi there, thanks for teaming up with us here on Golf Central. I am Todd Lewis. The U.S. Women's Open taking place in Houston, the final major championship of 2020. Interesting that this championship is taking place in December instead of the summer. The USGA making the switch due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Two courses, the Jackrabbit course and the Cypress Creek course, will make up the action for the first 2 days. Then after the cut is established, then the final two rounds will take place at Cypress Creek. Karen Stupples is one of the best voices in the game in regards to women's golf, and she knows how to win a major championship, taking the 2004 Women's British Open. She joins us now live to talk about the U.S. Women's Open. First, Karen, it's good to see you. Secondly, what effect will playing this championship in December have on the players, if any?
Well, one of the biggest issues, Todd, I think, and you've already mentioned it, is the fact that they're playing two golf courses. That's two courses that these players have to learn. And you might think, well, they're going to play 3 rounds around the Cypress Creek course and only 1 round around the Jackrabbit. I don't think at all you can fall asleep in playing that Jackrabbit course, because how often does this championship come down to being 1 shot or 2 shots or even going into a playoff? And you may have lost a couple of shots playing that Jackrabbit course because you didn't give it the time and attention that it deserves. The players are going to have to work really hard getting their homework done on 2 courses. But not only that, when it would have been played in June, it would have been quite hot and humid here in Houston. This time of year, it's a little bit chilly. It's going to be cold in the morning. The ball isn't going to fly as far. And the Cypress Creek course is measuring over 6,700 yards, and the Jackrabbit course is over 6,500 yards, both par 72s. So both are going to play particularly long. So I think the players this week will have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, indeed. And we saw the ladies playing in some difficult cold conditions at the Colony last week. So we'll see if that continues in Houston as well. Of course, we always want to pick a favorite or two heading into a major championship. You've got your finger on the pulse in regards to women's golf. Who do you like?
I mean, it would be so easy to go with an Inbee Park or So Young You, but I'm not. I'm going to go with a Danielle Kang as my first person to look out for this week. She's had some time off. She's been working on her game, but I don't believe she had to work too hard, because she's one of the best in the business with that mid to long iron. And I think given the length of this golf course, I think she's going to be a player to really watch out for. She does her homework too. She goes on Google Earth and scouts out the golf courses, so she might already have a good idea on how she wants to play these two. So that's Danielle Kang for you. And my other person to look out for is Jessica Calder. And it's more of a question of, what have you done for me lately? I had a chance to follow her last week, and I've got to say that I was so impressed with how she struck the ball. Her driving was immaculate. She was threading drives into tiny little spaces between bunkers, getting the ball out there a long way, which will be a huge help on this golf course this week. And not only that, her quality of strike with her irons was pretty important. Now, the greens at Cypress Creek are massive, and I think getting the ball in the right portion of these greens is going to be huge, and I think Jessica Calder is going to be the person to do that.
Should be an interesting week, and I've got the forecast right now, Karen. It looks like it's going to be in the 60s and the 70s, maybe lows in the 40s early in the morning. You may still have to use the hand warmers, but still, I know you'll do a great job with all of our coverage. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
25 hours of coverage devoted to this championship. Golf Channel will have coverage beginning Thursday at 12:30. NBC will start Saturday at 2:30. Also, Peacock will have action as well. 2020 marks the 75th edition of this championship, and Golf Channel, along with the USGA, are commemorating the Diamond Anniversary with an hour-long special. U.S. Open Epics, the greatest moments of the U.S. Women's Open, chronicles the most memorable shots and stories that have made this championship so remarkable. Here's a quick look.
What makes a moment? What elevates a simple swing to the pantheon of golf's greatest shots? What transforms a performance into something so epic it's remembered forever?
Made a birdie putt on the last hole of any Open. It's the rarest thing in golf.
A putt to win the championship.
It's the most important shot of her life right here. It might be good.
For 75 years, the U.S. Women's Open has turned moments into magic, providing the canvases for golfing artistry and painting masterpieces synonymous with the game itself.
This is very difficult.
What a shot!
As it celebrates its diamond anniversary, we salute the iconic individuals and stunning achievements that have made the U.S. Women's Open the preeminent championship in golf.
Bringing home a trophy.
A sacred sorority of champions. The transcendent shots that define women's golf.
It's in!
The battleground where the icons of the game measure their stature.
That's the greatest win I've ever seen in golf.
This is the 75 years of the U.S. Women's Open. And these are the moments that made them epic.
U.S. Open Epics, greatest moments of the U.S. Women's Open premieres Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Golf. For the U.S. Women's Open this week, could be a shakeup in the race to the CME Globe standings. Right now, Danielle Kang is on top with 2 wins so far this year. Right behind her is NB Park, and Se-Young Kim is in 3rd place. Each of the top 3 in the race to the CME standings have won the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. Yes, KPMG doing a lot for women's golf and doing for others in need as well, like Topanga Senna, who thought college was out of reach when her family hit a financial hardship, but through KPMG's Future Leaders Program, she not only got a chance to attend her dream school, she also became the first person in her family to do so.
What homework I have for today. Gotta do that later. Honestly, every day I have like a pinch me moment. I'm just in class, I'm sitting here, like my parents never went here, and like I just think like, wow, I'm here because I got this scholarship that's helped me pursue what I want to do and has been here and supported me throughout everything. My name is Topanga Senna and I'm a first-generation student at Rollins College. Years ago, I was living in a motel with my family. My dad lost his job. We were financially unstable. We started going to the public library. It was just another world that the books would bring me to. Each book is its own world, its own place, and that's where it would bring me. And I think that was like where I found a lot of joy in reading. I was signing up for any scholarship and every scholarship. So KPMG came along in my emails and I just signed up and I applied and I got it and I was really excited. They're trying to help women have a brighter future. There is a gender inequality at the time, and I feel like KPMG Future Leaders is trying to lessen that gap. When we first all met, it was at the retreat in Stanford, and it was really cool knowing that we all came from different stories where we had to go through a struggle, where we're all first-generation students, where we're all women in STEM majors. We're set up for success, we're like, we have a future for us, and I really like that, and we're all very empowering women. Having golf, because it is such a male-dominated sport, and also because STEM majors are male-dominated as well, and most business deals go on the golf course. I feel like it was great for them to incorporate that for us to know the terms, know the game, play it, and actually be good. I want to keep giving back to my community. I think ultimately that's what I want to do in my life, making sure like everybody's set up for success. The KPMG scholarship is really amazing towards me and towards my future. I'm happy here at Rollins College, and I'm happy KPMG could fund my way here.
Topanga is a business management major at Rollins College and hopes to pursue a career in marketing. We wish her the best. Tiger Woods has one more event to play in 2020. It's not a PGA Tour event, but you can bet he will have some nervous excitement as he teams up with his 11-year-old son Charlie to compete in the PNC Championship next week at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club in Orlando. Tiger saying about Charlie, "It's been great watching him progress as a junior golfer, and it will be incredible playing with him as a team." One of the many to cover Tiger Woods over the years is Jim Gray, who has a new book out called Talking to Goats, where he writes about interactions with many greats in sports like Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. Gray also devoted a chapter to another GOAT, Tiger Woods. Gray recently spoke with Rich Lerner about meeting Woods for the very first time when he was a kid.
I first encountered Tiger Woods when he was 9 years old. He grew up here in Southern California, where I was living and live now. And he was down playing with his dad and practicing at a place called Cypress Club. It's in Long Beach. And there was a little agate type one day, Rich, in the old Herald Examiner, and it said, 9-year-old Eldrick Woods had his third hole-in-one on the par 5, 150-something yard par 3. And I cut it out because I looked at it, I said, that can't be right. And I just didn't have time. So I let it kind of sit there for a couple of months. And the agate type in the old newspapers used to have all of the transactions, hired, fired, traded, everything that happened in all of sports. And that was in the golf section. So I called down there one day, and there was a man named John Allensmo. He was the head pro down there. And he said, yep, there's a guy, there is an Eldrick Woods down here. Everybody calls him Tiger. He's with his dad, Earl, every day. I said, well, can I come down and talk to him and shoot an interview? He said, well, it's okay with the course, but you'd have to ask his dad. So I hired a freelance crew and went down there and asked Earl, and Earl said, sure, tape it. So we taped an interview with Tiger and his father and watched him. And it was just amazing because he made putts, on the green that were just incomprehensible for a young man that age. And he threw a bunch of balls into a sand trap, and he knocked several of them in. And I'm looking at him and saying, wow. And his dad was having fun with him. This was pure joy to see what Earl was doing with Tiger. Wasn't pushing him. Tiger was laughing, and he would jiggle change in his pocket, and he would try and distract him. And you could just tell that this young child was going to be something special. So anyway, came back and held on to the tape, and Tiger said in that interview something that became very famous and is played all the time: when I grow up, I want to win all the majors and beat all the pros. Well, sure enough, he did that. He predicted his own greatness back before everybody was walking around with a cell phone and a camera in their pocket. And I also asked him, Rich, at the end of the segment that I did with him, Tiger, could I be your caddy? And he asked me if I knew how to read greens. And I said, yeah, I think so. And he said, okay, just your basic 10%. So over the years, we've had a few laughs about that because it was a huge, huge financial mistake for me not to have taken that job.
Good story there. Do you remember the first time you met Tiger?
Yeah, I do. I was playing at Pebble Beach. We were the last group off of 1 at Poppy Hills. He was the first group off of 10. I told my amateur, I said, look, they're getting ready to be 20,000 people out here that don't care about watching us play golf. And my other pro didn't tell his amateur partner. And when Tiger walked through the gallery onto the first tee, he was on every tee that we teed off on. And my amateur, I think, hit every one of those people out there.
And you shot 64 that day, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I made the putt.
He's trip. I'm Todd. We'll see you later.